Okay, so let's talk about Gia Giudice. She's been opening up quite a bit on her podcast recently, hasn't she?
Yeah, definitely. Covering, family stuff, her own life, and just her views on reality TV in general.
And the big thing, maybe the saddest part, was about her relationship with her cousins, the Gorgas.
She really didn't hold back there.
Hmm.
She called the distance sad, and she pointed fingers directly at the show. She described it as this, toxic and turmoil environment. Her feeling was that when the parents are, quote, at war, it makes it almost impossible for the kids, the cousins, to stay close.
Right. And she said her side did try, reaching out.
Yeah, she mentioned they kept, sending birthday wishes, things like that. But eventually the contact just wasn't returned. So they stopped, which, yeah, she said was sad.
Okay, shifting a bit. What about her own personal life? Her boyfriend, Christian Carmichael, are they living together now?
No, she said, not yet. But it's definitely on the table. They're talking about it. And she thinks probably within the next year it'll happen. Seems like the next logical step for them.
Makes sense. Okay, let's get into her experience on Real Housewives of New Jersey. She was on it forever, basically grew up on it, but then she turned 18 and seemed to really start speaking her mind more. What prompted that?
Well, it sounds like she just got fed up. She said she felt people were lying or gaslighting the audience, saying things happened in ways they just didn't. And she felt like, I can't take it anymore. She had to correct the record, basically.
And that didn't go over well with everyone, did it? I remember some backlash.
Oh, yeah. She definitely faced it. People calling her disrespectful, saying she had no respect, and specifically criticizing, the way you talk to your uncle. That came up a lot.
That must have been tough, dealing with that publicly when it's your actual family.
Extremely. She said it was hard because it was her life, her family, and it made her angry, understandably.
Yeah.
She even talked about feeling suffocated, trying to get her truth out there, just frustrated, and that the whole thing was, well, a lot.
It's interesting how she navigates that, especially being Teresa Giudice's daughter. How does she see herself compared to her mom?
It's funny. She sees them as very similar and very different.
Okay. How so?
In their thinking, she thinks they differ. She kind of positions herself as the more maybe rational one.
Trying to find balance.
Exactly. Someone who tries to bring people to a middle ground. But she thinks they're very similar in their tempers. She used this phrase like, they both take, and then explode.
Okay. So that reactive part is something she feels they share.
Yeah, that specific pattern. She sees that in both of them.
So looking forward now, she's involved in this new show, Next Gen NYC. What's her feeling about that project?
Oh, she sounds really positive about it. Genuinely excited.
A fresh start.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
She explicitly said she's looking forward to getting away from my family drama.
Understandable.
Yeah, she sees it as her chance to kind of, step into my own. Create her own path, her own identity.
Which must feel different from RHONJ, especially as she got older.
Totally. She described RHONJ feeling constantly negative about her family and her life. But she thinks Next Gen NYC will be more about, playful, normal friend drama.
And hopefully less toxic.
She's hoping it's not toxic. A very different vibe.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds for her.
Definitely. Okay, next update we have about Boz Saint John and her experience on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. There was this really interesting bit about a producer complaint she got.
Yeah, that really stood out. Apparently, our producer actually told her something like, Boz, you resolve issues too fast. Like she was supposed to just let things simmer.
Wow. And coming from her background, that must have been, odd. She explained it from her perspective, right? Like in business.
Exactly. Her training is all about identifying conflict and, tackling it head on quickly, because dragging things out costs time, costs money. That's her world.
So she saw herself as the one cutting through the noise, saying, okay, here's the issue, instead of the usual reality TV.
Going round and round and round, as she put it, yeah. Her directness, that business mindset, it kind of clashed with the production's maybe need for drawn-out drama. It's a fascinating peek behind the curtain, really.
And it wasn't just production dynamics. She also talked about getting pushback just for being friends with Dorit.
Right. She actually quoted people asking her, how dare you? Why would you be friends with her? Just point blank.
That's pretty intense. And her defense was quite thoughtful, wasn't it? About timing.
Yeah, meeting people at a certain time and where they are. She even mused, maybe 6 years ago they wouldn't have clicked, but she met Dorit now, feeling she was desperate to be heard during a chaotic period in her life.
It kind of speaks to needing grace, giving people a fair shot, acknowledging that people aren't static. you know.
Definitely. And looking forward, she did confirm she's planning on coming back for season 15.
She also touched on her relationship with Garcelle Beauvais, saying she was so careful, she said, during season 14 filming.
Yeah, specifically trying to avoid that narrative of pitting the two black girls against each other.
Which is something that comes up a lot, unfortunately.
For sure. And she expressed genuine sadness and disappointment that Garcelle isn't returning. She apparently really wanted to show the arc of their relationship, the ups and downs, the conflict that we've had, and find resolution together on screen.
That makes sense. Something else she highlighted, which was pretty cool, was her decision to wear only black designers for the whole season. All 53 looks.
Yeah, that was a conscious choice. It started, she said, with her look for Sutton's Surrealist Ball, a Ghanaian designer, Mimi Aboa. And then for the main marketing photo shoot, she went with an ode to Black Hollywood, wearing Zelda Wynn Valdez.
Wow, Zelda Wynn Valdez. That's iconic.
Right. Known for having the first black-owned salon on Madison Avenue. Boz just kept pulling from her closet, commissioning pieces. She put it simply if everybody has a thing, why can't my thing be black?
Using the show's focus on fashion to make a statement. I like that.
Yeah. And finally, she mentioned her new show with Jimmy Fallon, On Brand.
Oh, right, the marketing competition show.
Yeah, she called it a dream come true, the culmination of life. Jimmy's the host CEO, and she's the CMO resident expert, the one giving critical feedback on the technicalities. Sounds like a perfect fit for her.
Definitely sounds like it. Next update we have about Selling Sunset's Blake Davis.
Right. This involves some pretty serious accusations flying back and forth, specifically claims made by Chrishell Stause about Emma Hernan's boyfriend, Blake.
Okay, what were the specific claims reported in the sources?
Chrishell accused him of saying pronouns are dumb and also using the N-word on Instagram. Pretty heavy stuff.
Definitely. And Blake responded.
He did. He stated, according to the source, that he's only met Chrishell maybe a handful of times, and their last meeting was way back in January 2024, so over a year ago. He basically said they're barely acquaintances and don't really know each other's views.
So basically questioning the basis of her claims about his beliefs.
Right, and he flat out denied using derogatory language or discussing politics with her at all.
But there was something about pronouns he did address.
Yes, he admitted to one specific incident during that January 2024 meeting. He said he mistakenly called G-Flip, who is Chrishell's partner, Chrishell's wife, instead of using them.
Ah, okay.
He said he was corrected right then and there and claims he's respectfully used the preferred pronouns ever since that correction.
Gotcha. He also made a comment about feeling targeted.
Yeah, he threw in a line saying he felt like he was getting picked on by somebody my mom's age.
Oof. Okay. And what about his relationship status with Emma amidst all this?
He stated that he and Emma remain committed to each other, though he acknowledged they've had a few breaks. He also added that he supports Emma's friendship with Chrishell, but he himself is not part of that friendship.
Right. So a lot of he said, she said, based on these reports. And just to be super clear for everyone listening, we're reporting the claims from Chrishell and Blake's responses as presented in the source material we have. We aren't weighing in on who is right or wrong here. Let's move into something with legal implications now. The Leah McSweeney lawsuit.
Yeah, this is about an update in her ongoing lawsuit against Andy Cohen, Bravo, and Shed Media. The sources say she's asking the court for permission to file an amended complaint.
And what's the core of this new amended complaint she wants to file?
It's pretty significant. Leah is alleging, according to these court documents, that Andy Cohen directed and/or induced, that's the language used at least 24 current and former Bravo cast members, to publicly speak out against her, essentially damage her employment reputation, while at the same time praising Andy. She's claiming this was a coordinated effort.
And she's claiming producers were involved too.
The documents allege producers helped facilitate these efforts, yes. Leah is framing this whole thing as a coordinated, multifaceted retaliatory campaign against her.
Retaliation for what specifically?
For filing her original lawsuit. That initial suit, you might remember, included claims about a, quote, rotted workplace culture and allegations that producers actively tried to sabotage her sobriety on the show.
Right, I remember those initial headlines. And she's claiming this alleged campaign is having real-world consequences for her.
Yes, she claims it's created a chilling effect on her career prospects. She states she's lost at least one job opportunity because of it and estimates her ability to get new work has dropped by about 50%.
That's a serious claim. Now, wasn't there some previous back and forth, like Andy responded before?
There was. Leah had previously alleged a letter from Andy's lawyers got leaked deliberately to scare off others. And your sources remind us that back in February 2024, Andy Cohen publicly denied her initial claims, calling the lawsuit false and baseless, and even threatening his own legal action.
And didn't some other Bravo stars kind of rally around him then?
Yeah, around that same time, several Bravo personalities did publicly voice support for Andy Cohen.
Okay. Okay, let's shift from the legal arena back to more classic cast drama.
Yeah.
This time on the Valley, involving a rumor about Jason Caperna's wedding ring.
Yes, the ring rumor. The story going around was that Jason takes his wedding ring off when he goes to bars. This apparently became a whole thing on the show.
So where did this rumor actually start, according to the sources you looked at?
Well, Jasmine Good said she first heard it about 3 years ago. It was supposedly at a party from people Jason wasn't friends with anymore, and she apparently still stands by hearing it. Danny Bucco also confirmed Jasmine was the one who brought it up within the current group.
Okay, but Jason's wife, Janet Caperna, she denies starting it, right? She had a different take.
Completely. Janet denies it started with her. She claims Jasmine initially blamed some mutual friends, but when Janet actually contacted those friends, they denied saying anything like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and Janet added that one of those friends then texted Jasmine about it, and Jasmine allegedly replied something like, "I didn't say any of that. Janet's the one making this mess." So basically pointing the finger back at Janet.
How did Kristen Doubt get involved?
Kristen said she heard it from Zach first, but then Zach Wickham clarified that actually he and Jasmine both told Kristen. Zach also made a comment, kind of interestingly, that even if you don't believe a rumor like that, it's still a very specific thing to say about somebody.
Implying there might be something there? And the sources mentioned a possible motivation for Kristen spreading it. Something about revenge.
Yeah, there was a suggestion in the source material that Kristen might have seen the rumor as a way to get back at Janet because they already had some friction between them.
Oh, okay, that adds another layer. What about Luke Roderick's involvement? He tried to check it out.
Right. Luke apparently tried to vet the rumor before Kristen brought it up on camera. He sent a friend request on social media to someone who was supposedly one of the original sources, hoping to get confirmation.
Trying to do some digging. How did Janet see that?
Janet interpreted that move by Luke and Kristen's involvement as them actively trying to dig up information to use against Jason.
And Jason's view.
Jason felt the whole thing was premeditated, especially because Luke sent that friend request before some other arguments even happened. Jason's point was basically, why didn't Luke just ask me? I haven't given him any reason not to trust me.
Makes sense from his perspective. Didn't Janet have kind of a funny take on it all in the end? The doubt test?
Yeah, she joked about it, saying she actually felt pretty good about her marriage if the absolute worst thing Detective Doubt could find after all that digging was this unsubstantiated ring rumor. She called it passing the doubt test.
Okay. And one last little piece, Jasmine's fiancée, Melissa Marie, had a theory about why the friends might have denied it to Janet.
Yeah, Melissa suggested maybe those friends were just scared of Janet, or maybe they figured they had nothing to gain by admitting they spread the rumor 3 years later. Plausible deniability, perhaps.
Right. This whole thing is just such a perfect example of how a rumor, true or not, can just explode and get twisted based on who trusts who, past fights, maybe wanting screen time, all of it.
Absolutely. A total case study in reality TV rumor mills.
So quite a journey through your sources today. So if you want to keep up with all this, make sure you subscribe to Realty TV.
Yeah, and hit that bell icon. You don't want to miss our next breakdown.
Thank you for watching this video. See you tomorrow.